Hello, hello, hello. It is your boy Brandon, your girl Shanaz, and we are back with another video. And the video we got today is actually a review, not a reaction. We got a review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And we went today to see it with the kids. Had a blast.
Yeah.
It was just get it out of the way. Like I said, we had a blast, enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good movie. And before we get it, this is a spoiler review, so we are going to get into we're going to get into details. We're going to get into details here. So if you haven't seen it, maybe bookmark this, watch the movie, and then come back and watch this. Or if you don't care, you want to hear it anyway, we appreciate you for watching, but this will be a spoiler review. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you like content like this, we would appreciate you subscribing. So let's get into it. You wanna take it off? Because I'm gonna get into obviously different stuff. So I want you to have your thoughts first.
I love Jim Carrey. I love him. He's great. He always makes it like that goofy, fun feel. And I predicted when we watched the trailer that this movie would be more serious. And I do think it was. Like the first two movies were very... like, it wouldn't make you cry. You know, this movie definitely had a lot more teary-eyed moments. So there's that. But it was, like, in a good way. It's definitely, I think, the best movie overall out of the three, I think. Like, it did a really good job of it.
I would need to rewatch it.
But I was laughing. We were having a great time. It was good. I would say overall it was really good. Probably one of the best Sonic movies.
Yeah, like I think it's too early for me to say if it's the best. It definitely might be. It was really good. So I'm gonna just start out. Do you want to say anything else? Like, is there anything else you want to say? Like, maybe like, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm just gonna start with my very first system was a Sega Genesis. And the very first game that I played was Sonic. So if you see here,
this guy pulled it out today. I gotta pull it out
because I got amped. So these are the CDs that I was playing on the computer later. But I had the 6-pack on Sega that had Golden Axe and Sonic.
Yeah, I never had Sega, so I didn't even know who Sonic was.
Yeah, so I was a big Sonic guy. So in that, when it was like Sega versus Nintendo, and there were obviously people that had love for Mario and Luigi and those characters, when I was growing up around that like young 4 to 6 age, I grew up more around Sonic because my mom got me a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
So I had the Sonic game, I had Sonic and Knuckles here, you know what I mean? Got the pack you could hook on like this. Like, and then I had these CDs of Sonic and then Sonic and Knuckles. So I was a big Sonic fan. I love the games. And there was someone in our trailer reaction that mentioned kind of the origin of Shadow and about Gerald Robotnik, like Ivo, like Jim Carrey's grandfather.
Yeah.
You know, they're both Jim Carrey, but you know what I'm talking about. The main Eggman's grandfather.
Yeah. And
he was just saying how it was from Sonic Adventures. And I think Sonic Adventures was a game later on. I can't remember if it was on the Dreamcast. Let us know in the comments. But I think it was on the Dreamcast. But I think that's when they started to go to the 3D animation. So you know Sonic usually is like the flat screen. It's just like the flat him going sideways.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm used to. That's what I know Sonic as. So obviously they changed it where it was 3D. Obviously technology was getting more advanced, but I don't think I was playing Sonic that much around that time. I think I'd just focus on other interests at that time. So that's where with Shadow, I wasn't too familiar with his origin story. Like I knew about the character and about him a bit, but even I was surprised about certain stuff that I was seeing in the trailer or in the movie that a lot of people in the comments were like kind of going around lore stuff and just going into real things that they were excited about this movie
because of Shadow
and because they were familiar with the Sonic Adventure games, right? So that's where Shadow is a little just kind of away from me, departed from me a bit.
But you fall in love with him immediately.
Yeah.
Like our 5-year-old is now obsessed with Shadow. Like Sonic isn't a nobody. He wants to be Shadow.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves did an amazing job.
You love him too.
I do. Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite.
Like as soon as he talks, he's like,
he's
smiling at me in the movie theater. I'm like, you love him.
Yeah, like I think he was perfect for Shadow. I think it was a perfect casting. And honestly, even Idris Elba for Knuckles is such a good casting.
So good.
Like,
I honestly didn't know that until I Googled it today.
I really like Idris Elba, and it's funny because like his dry, just dead humor, how they made Knuckles' character.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy Knuckles' character, even though Tails is my favorite character.
100%
Yeah,
muscle.
100% muscle. Yeah, he. So those are the two big castings, and obviously Jim Carrey.
I didn't know Tails' voice actor was a woman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is Tails a boy though? Like
Think so.
Okay.
I think so. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments.
When I saw that today, like, it makes sense. Like, he does have like a higher pitch, raspier voice. I don't know if it's a he, but
yeah, I'm thinking he is a boy because, like, again, spoilers here. We're just actually, you know what? I'm gonna get into that later. I'll get into that later.
Get into what?
About the credit scene. Because I was gonna say something else. But before I get into that, I just want to kind of get into the actors and performances. Jim Carrey. Barry Bonds out of here. Like, he was basically playing he played two characters, which means he had a ton of dialogue.
And he was the main human actor.
Like,
there wasn't as many human actors.
Yeah, and even transitioning to that, this movie they didn't feature the other humans a lot. It was really focused on the Robotniks and the Sonic character, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, which is good in a sense, and it's funny because that's what a lot of people ask from the Transformers movies, to focus more on the robots and not the humans that are kind of around them. Which I think by introducing another another Sonic character in Shadow, they needed to kind of depart from the humans a little bit and just kind of have them on the sideline, which was a good idea, and it worked.
Yeah.
But again, just going back to Jim Carrey. He did an amazing job, man. Like again, spoilers, the whole dance sequence.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know.
He's 62.
Yeah.
The fact that his physical comedy is still that good is crazy. Like, he still has the same energy.
He does. And it's just the more, you've always loved Jim Carrey. Always. And I've always been a big fan of his also.
But I love cheesy too. Like,
yeah, but it's not even cheesy. Like, it's good. It's just the more that I grow, the more that I get older, the more I appreciate Jim Carrey more and more and more. And especially him doing this franchise. I think this is the best video game adapted franchise that the audiences have gotten. Yeah. When you take all the game franchises that they've tried to adapt, I really think this might be one of the best ones. And yeah, like, again, there was just this movie was really good. It started off, the action was amazing. The story was good. Basically the movie started off with a big action scene that we get in the trailers.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. They expand it. Like, we just get a bit of it when they kind of meet originally in Tokyo. But then from that part in the trailer, the fight expands like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because the level of the fight that they had in the beginning was expanded so much, and honestly probably could even match the Robotnik fight when Sonic turned Gold Sonic in the second movie.
Yeah.
That's how big of a scale that opening fight was in the beginning when they were running up the side of the buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is amazing. And
did you take it when he did the motorcycle up the building? He was using his momentum, and then he stood on the motorcycle. Yeah. He looked so swaggy. And then he used it and just pushed off. Yeah. That was sick.
Yeah, like
he was super awesome. Like, Sonic.
Yeah, he was sick.
Sorry, Shadow.
I was saying the scale of the first fight, like, shocked me. And even from that moment, I was like, I wonder how they're going to kind of top this, if this is going to be the beginning. And this is the beginning of the movie.
That's what you thought?
That's what I thought in the beginning. When I was watching it, I was like, wow. I'm like, what are they going to do for the ending part if because they already did Golden Shadow. I was like, what are they going to... No, sorry. They already did Gold Sonic in Sonic 2. So I was like, are they just going to do Gold Sonic again and he turns up again? And again, I wasn't familiar with Gold Shadow.
Right.
Because again, like I was saying in the beginning, I wasn't too familiar with the Shadow character, of his origins and obviously all his abilities and what he does, because I've never played the Sonic Adventures games. So like me seeing that was sick. Like I loved the way he looked when he got the gold thing, but that ending fight was unreal.
Yeah. It was really good. Definitely.
Yeah, like there was two shots where like when they kind of, obviously they were fighting originally when he kind of knocked the emerald out of him, and then they both got it and they started fighting.
Yeah.
But when they started teaming up, there was like 2 moments where I feel like they probably took it from the game, and I feel like audiences probably went crazy. But when they crossed, and they kind of freeze frame, there was 2 times. I can't remember the first time, but there was a second time where they crossed. They were just looking dead at the camera at the audience. It looked so good, so good, and like I was just so surprised at the level of fighting that they were doing at the end. Like, it literally looked like a anime kind of level fight, the way they were powered up, and they were Dragon Ball level, like clashing in the air and space and like it was crazy. Like, I did not expect that level of like fighting from a Sonic movie. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
it was really good.
It was sick. It was sick. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And
the one character, I can't remember her name, but your jaw dropped when you saw her.
Oh, the one actress. It wasn't really it was a jaw drop, but I guess because it was the actress. What's her name? Kristen Ritter or Emma, the girl, the actress that acted Jessica Jones in the Netflix Daredevil show, or the Netflix Daredevil universe, Marvel universe shows, where she was Jessica Jones. She was in Defenders. I was just more surprised because, one, I haven't seen her in a bit, and I've always been a big fan of hers because she was in Breaking Bad. I know, obviously you guys are fans of Breaking Bad, but she was in that, and there was something else that I can't recall. But I've always been a fan of hers, and then when she got casted as Jessica Jones, I was like, yeah, she is a good Jessica Jones. So I just haven't seen her in a bit, I think, since Jessica Jones. So it was just seeing her was just like, oh. Say a word. Like,
did you like her in this role?
Yeah, she was solid. Yeah. She was solid. She didn't obviously have much, but she was just kind of like the general person in charge once the general that Sonic was like familiar with ended up passing away.
I feel like she's going to be the villain moving forward.
Yeah, maybe. Because obviously we did get, and this is what I was going to say earlier, we'll get into the post-credits. We got 2 post-credits. We got the first one where Sonic was racing. They kind of had a barbecue at the end again, and then he raced off.
Oh, the robots.
And then the robots Mecha Sonic or Robot Sonic pulled up on him. But then we see the reveal of Amy with her hammer smashing them. Yeah. Which I had a feeling they were going to introduce. I was like, if they do a 4th one, they'll probably do Amy next. So we did get the Amy reveal. And then we got an after credit, which was basically just, we saw Shadow's gold cuff just in the ground, and we see his shoes, and he basically just comes up and picks it up, basically just hinting that he's alive. And honestly, Robotnik's probably alive too.
Like, you think so?
Unless Jim Carrey's like, Jim
Carrey's done.
Like, again, unless, who knows? Like, I haven't heard anything. Let us know in the comments if you've heard anything about Jim Carrey kind of stepping away after this movie. But if that's what they decided to do, that makes sense. And if they kind of want to shift away from kind of like the humans and just go more like the animated, how the animated shows are. But I'm even Robotnik's in those, but you could kind of do it in a way where he isn't kind of the center.
I think Robotnik is. I think
also get that. Like, if there's
because they ended the Sonic 2 the same way where you think he's dead and then he's dead. I'm like, they can't do that again. Yeah. And like, they made his goodbye very emotional. Like, he took the moment to say bye.
You're right, but it's also kind of like that Team Rocket in Pokemon where they get blasted off into the sky. Yeah. And they just kind of come back, and you don't really
figure out why.
You don't really fight it too much because you're just like, oh, it's a cartoon.
My intuition thinks that he's not coming back.
And again, like,
it seemed like a genuine goodbye.
Yeah, because he was saving the world. And maybe, again, because even the other guy thought he was, his like henchman thought he was dead too. So you're right. So again, maybe they'll just shift Sonic 4 to mainly just focus on like the characters, Hedgehogs and Tails and Knuckles and just that universe. So
I had a few things. One, are we supposed to know where Shadow like come from? Like, why is Shadow and Sonic look the same? Like, remember he hinted that in the beginning? Like, why do they look alike?
So I don't know. There's just so we'll probably just get into this and then we'll wrap up this video. So there's probably just a couple plot points that we were asking about when we were talking about it after the movie. Yeah. So the big thing that she said was, like at the very, very beginning, they had the conversation about why do you look like me? Yeah. Why do you look like me? Yeah. But then we see that Shadow came from space in like a meteor, but then we know Sonic came from a different planet also.
Right.
So unless he came from that planet in a meteor somehow, like again, like
but that was like 50 years
and
prior.
they're related from the same planet, but yeah, they didn't get into that at all about why they looked alike.
Yeah.
And that is probably a big misstep, because that would be nice to know how they are kind of.
Or maybe that's leading into the next movie, like their journey of figuring out their home planet together, or where they came from, because even Sonic was the only one that had that speed power on his planet at the time. Remember, it was the echidnas and then the owl. So it's not like he had any of his kind there.
Knuckles technically has the speed.
That's true.
Do. It's just he's not as fast as Sonic, right?
That's true.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, because now that we know Sonic 4 is coming, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes from here. But yeah, that was probably the biggest plot point, but plot point that we had a complaint about. I think there might have been one other thing, but other than that, honestly, not too much.
The death of that guy. I'm sorry to be a hater, but that was really bad. What's his name?
But this is just nitpicking at this point. This is just nitpicking. Like, this isn't like a plot point. Like, she's talking about the general when they were in the Chow place in Tokyo, and like he died and gave Sonic the thing. She's just talking about like his acting, but I'm like, that's not like the actual movie. She's just nitpicking right now. Like, you have to admit when you're nitpicking. Like,
okay, I'm admitting it. I said I'm being a hater.
Yeah, so that was like her one thing. When I'm talking about plot point wise, like, there wasn't really too much to complain about, and the movie was a good movie and a solid movie, and I recommend you go see it. You will enjoy it, and you'll have a good time. So
yeah,
I think that's it for this video. If you like this review, hit the thumbs up. If you think you'd be interested in reviews going forward, trailer reactions, TV series reactions, anime reactions, movie reactions, all that fun stuff, subscribe to the Corrie Chronicles. You will not regret it. We appreciate you for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.